Isn't that wild? It's just wild. People will notice. We've learned exactly how to handle toddler tantrums, and it's all smooth sailing until your toddler is throwing tantrums in public. I can follow a protocol at home, but all bets are off when I have people staring at me, wondering what I'm gonna do about my toddler who is now melting down on the floor of the grocery store. It feels like a whole new ballgame at that point. Well, today is your lucky day. We're gonna batter up, okay? Our toddler just threw a fit somewhere in public, and I'm going to walk you through the thought process to help eliminate the conflict that can happen when tantrums are happening in public. So first of all, answer this for me. What are all these people thinking? What are they thinking about your toddler? What are they thinking about you? I want to hear all of it. Don't hold anything back. If you can allow your brain to just dump everything that you think they're thinking, that alone can help start to lose its power a little bit. So maybe they're thinking you are a terrible mom. Maybe they're thinking you have the loudest, most obnoxious kid on the planet. Maybe they're thinking that you have no idea what you're doing. Maybe they're thinking that you should do this or you shouldn't do that, right? They think they know what's best, and they think that you have no clue what you're doing. Get it all out there. Think about, okay, what are all these people thinking? And then the second question I want you to ask is, what would they think if you gave in to your toddler? Because I feel like that's a very likely scenario, especially when we're in public. We might feel an urge to give in to this tantrum. They are screaming for that sucker. Just buy them the sucker. So if you did that, what would they be thinking at that point, right? So we've explored, what are they thinking when this tantrum is happening? Let's take it a next step further. What would they think if you gave in to your toddler? Would they think that you're an even worse parent than before? Would they think, oh, thank goodness, and they'd be very grateful? Maybe they would think that you're a great mom for giving your kid what they wanted. Explore that. What would they think about you, about your toddler, about the situation if you gave into this tantrum? Next question. What would they think if you did the ABCs? Go back and revisit those videos if you missed that. The ABCs is just the script for what we say to our toddler when they are having a tantrum. What would all these people that are witnessing this display in public, what would they think if you did the ABCs? What would they think if you started to acknowledge what your child was feeling, give them a boundary, and then give them a choice, and then enforce that choice? What would they be thinking then? Would they now be thinking that you're an amazing parent? Would they think that you're so strict? Would they think that you're just a terrible mom? Would they think that your toddler is so lucky to have you? Or would they think that the kid would be better off with them? Just what are they thinking? And obviously these are all of your thoughts. We are well aware, right? We actually don't know what these people are thinking. And that's kind of the point, is to explore what our brain is pretty convinced that they're thinking, and kind of see what they might be thinking in all these different scenarios to help us get to a conclusion that we feel good about, basically. So here's the thing. In either scenario, okay, so we had our second question, that is, what would they be thinking if I gave in to my toddler? And then we have our third question that was, what would they think if they did if we did the ABCs with them? Either way, in either scenario, all these people might be thinking those things that you kind of explored and that you're guessing and pretty sure that they're thinking. They might be thinking that. They might not be. What if they are thinking that? So that's the next question. What if they really are thinking, oh my gosh, like she is the worst mom ever? What might happen, right? What's the relevance? So they are thinking all these terrible things, because usually we expect that they're thinking terrible things. I think it's pretty rare that we actually guess that other people are having positive thoughts about us. So what if they are thinking all these really nasty thoughts about us? How will that affect us? What's going to happen? Well, maybe they might say something. That's honestly probably our biggest fear, I would guess. Well, if they're thinking I'm a terrible mom, they might then tell me I'm a terrible mom, or they might whisper to other people about the terrible mom that I am. They might, I don't know. I mean, telling people is what's probably worst case scenario. Maybe they'll step in. Maybe we're really afraid that they think I'm a terrible mom, so they're going to come and like correct me in front of all these people, and that's going to be humiliating, right? We're really afraid of the feeling. We're afraid of being humiliated. We're afraid of being embarrassed. We're afraid of feeling like a failure. And that's always the worst that could happen. We've talked about that. So anyway, ask yourself, what if they really are thinking that? And next, the question we're going to ask is, what if they're right to be thinking that? What if they're correct that I'm a terrible mom? What if they're correct that I don't really know what I'm doing? What if they really are right in thinking that I'm out of my depth, that I can't handle this? And then ask yourself, what if they're wrong? What if they're wrong that I'm not a terrible mom? I actually know I've put in a lot of effort. I am trying really, really hard to figure out this whole tantrums thing. I'm doing my best. Like, I know that they're wrong. So what if they are wrong? I just want you to realize that's a possibility. It's a possibility that what you think they're thinking is in fact incorrect. And now, what you really need to be asking yourself is, what is the upside to worrying about what they think? What's the advantage of spending all this time that we have just spent spinning in thoughts about what might be going through other people's minds? Is there an upside to that? Is there any positive aspect of us truly wasting so much time going through all these questions? Because subconsciously, we're kind of going through this process. We just don't totally recognize that that's what we're doing, but really we are asking ourselves these questions. What are they thinking about me? What are they going to do because they're thinking that? What if they're right, And I just want you to realize there probably isn't much of an upside. The only thing I could maybe see is somebody recognizing an error in their ways. So maybe some parent that just starts yelling at their kid to get them to stop tantruming. Then it maybe is relevant to be like, oh, I wonder what those people are thinking. They're probably thinking I'm really rude. And actually, I am being really rude. So I'm going to stop, right? But that's not you. You're trying to do the ABCs. You love your child and are putting in the time and energy to really try to help them through this phase of life. And so deep down, you are doing amazing. You are doing your best. And so there is no advantage. There is no upside to wasting your time worrying about what other people think. Lastly, the ultimate question to ask yourself is, what are you committed to believing about yourself, no matter what others may or may not be thinking? What are you committed to truly believing about yourself? You're a good mom. You do know what to do, right? You have the tools. I will link the cheat sheet. Hopefully you have that by now. It tells you everything you need to know. You know how to successfully handle tantrums. And so work to believe that. I have thoughts to think. I have so many videos in this playlist. I have a tantrums playlist that can assist you in reshaping some beliefs. We can always choose a new belief to think. For probably a long time, you have believed that you don't know what you're doing. You have believed that toddlers are the worst, that this is the hardest stage of life, all these things, and those are optional. And we can decide to change the tune a little bit and change the story that we're telling ourselves. So I want you to really ask yourself, what am I committed to believing about myself, about my efforts, about my child, about this tantrum, despite what other people may or may not be thinking. And if all else fails, and you don't want to deal with going through all those questions, then just tell yourselves what other people think are 100% about them. That is a phrase I use all the time for myself because it's true. And whether it's true or not, you get to believe it if you want to. But it really is true. Our brains are all that's going on. We are taking input from our environment and coming up with a story and coming up with thoughts. And so what I'm thinking is about me. It's not about this other person. It's about me. So I know that about myself. And so by extension, I know that about other people. What they're thinking is 100% about them. And so I don't need to worry about it. I don't need to change what I'm doing to accommodate whatever I think might be going on in their minds. I just want to show up for my child the best way I know how. I want to show up for myself the best way I know how. And once we can have enough pause and patience and calm, which there are videos about that, in order to handle the tantrum properly, like with the ABCs, that's the key to then other people are going to be thinking, holy cow, what did she just do? That was amazing. Like, holy cow, I want to learn how to do that. Like, can you believe the grace and poise that she just handled that tantrum? Like, they will be admiring you because, and I know that because in my own life, last Saturday, like 4 days ago, a couple paid for my family's breakfast. We were out at a restaurant. They paid for our breakfast because they were so impressed with my children. I have 3 kids, ages 10 to 4, and they paid for our meal. They were clear in the corner. We were out at breakfast before we headed there before going over to the church to clean it. And it was a Saturday morning. So we decided we'll take the kids out to breakfast because we don't ever do that. So we went to a little breakfast place down the road, and this couple paid for our meal and then walked over and thanked us for just how refreshing and how encouraging and how like heartwarming and just positive it was to see us, to see our family with such well-behaved kids and such happy kids, such a happy dynamic. Isn't that wild? It's just wild. People will notice. People will notice your efforts. So stick to the plan. Even if you're in public, stick to the plan. Do those ABCs. Stay calm, stay collected and composed, and you'll be pretty proud of yourself. So you can do it. I'll see you soon.